The Senate has voted to advance a measure that will help raise the nation's debt limit. 10 Republican senators joined Democrats to pass the bill. It allows for a one-time exemption to the filibuster so that Democrats can raise the debt limit without votes from Republicans. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen has warned the nation could go into default if the limit is not raised by December 15th. For more on this, I want to bring in Sarah Ewall-Wice. She's a CBS News reporter covering economic policy. Hey there, Sarah. So this process does not seem simple. Help our viewers understand what the debt ceiling is, what would happen if that limit was reached, and what happened in the Senate.
Yeah, so as you said, not a simple process, and the Senate really didn't do itself any favors. It actually added a few more steps to the process to end up coming to the same conclusion, and that is that the debt ceiling needs to be raised to avoid default, and they now have a process for doing so quickly before that deadline of December 15th. But what the debt ceiling is it's a limit on how much the United States government can borrow in order to pay its bills. If the government hits that limit, then it cannot pay the bills, and the government could end up going into default, which it has never done before. But they've added a few additional steps in here. They've been able to make it so they can fast track this process moving forward so that the Senate and the House will now vote on separate legislation that will be able to increase the debt ceiling to a specific number before we hit that risk of going into default.
Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell negotiated this deal with Majority Leader Chuck Schumer. However, it was only a couple of months ago that McConnell vowed that his party would not help Democrats raise the debt ceiling again. What led to him and several other Republicans to ultimately support this deal?
You know, at the end of the day, it was really the option of allow the government to default or reverse course. And in the end, the political victory of being able to stand your ground and not be participating in raising the debt ceiling really just wasn't an option here when it comes to the economic consequences that would come with the potential for default. So they were reversing course to some extent after multiple months of saying that they would not help in any way. But with this process, it's more convoluted. They were able to separate themselves a little bit further from specifically raising the debt limit. And so what they're able to do is a number of Republicans stepped forward and voted to end a filibuster or to avoid a filibuster so that they can move forward with the process. But when it comes to the actual vote to raise the debt limit, no Republicans will end up supporting that. And what this allows them to do is point to Democrats and say, look at all this spending that they're doing. Look at how much they're raising the debt ceiling to, while being able to set themselves aside and say that they're not contributing to that. I will say throughout this entire process, one thing Republicans had been saying is raising the debt limit is about new spending, and that is simply not true. This was not about new spending. This was about bills that the government had already incurred that needed to be paid, and those were debts that were incurred under both Republican and Democratic administrations, Republican and Democratic controlled Congresses. So that is a part of this that they've been saying throughout this entire process that that simply is not the case here. But this does give them some political ammo that we expect them to use moving into the midterm cycle.
An important point on that. So, Sarah, this bill doesn't just address the debt limit, but it also involves delaying cuts to some government programs. Tell us more about this.
Yeah, so the bill that specifically passed today in the Senate is a procedural move to raise the debt limit. It's not that actual debt limit being raised legislation, but this specific procedural bill was attached to another piece of legislation that suspends spending cuts to a number of programs, specifically including Medicare. And those were supposed to kick in at the end of this year. Earlier this fall, they passed a government spending bill that funded the government temporarily through February, but they didn't include any provision to delay those specific cuts that were supposed to kick in. So they did need to do that separately. They tied these two things together moving forward in this piece of legislation. So those spending cuts have been delayed. Those, of course, only are delayed through the end of March. So we have the anticipation that this will come back down the line, and they'll have to address this further moving forward.
All right, Sarah, thank you.